This is Carla Hinton reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. I'm here in the studio with Brianna Gaither. She is an Oklahoma Christian University college student and a singer-songwriter from Edmond. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. Now, the last time we talked, it was May 2006, and
Right.
you were featured in a Mother's Day story in the Oklahoman. I wrote the story, and at that time we talked about the songs that you wrote after the 2005 death of your mother, Kim Gaither.
Right.
And she was an Oklahoma Christian University professor, and a lot of people in Oklahoma know her, as well as in other states. You write songs now, and that's what I'm hoping we can talk about. I think this is a great follow-up for a lot of people who were interested in that original article. What was so different about you playing piano and writing songs the last time we talked?
When I first started writing songs, well, I was really just doing it for me as an outlet for emotion. And this time, writing songs, it's the same thing. It's still expression, and it's still something that's dear to my heart that I'm able to express in music. But it's different in the sense that I have a bigger picture for it. For example, when I first learned to play the piano, I was really young, and I completely hated it. I completely hated playing piano when I was little. And I did it for years, but I didn't progress at all. And I remember my mom forcing me to play 15 minutes a week, and I cried the whole time. But now, and I was 16 when she died, and about 3 or 4 days after her death, I was at a place where I didn't really know what to do. There was nothing to do. You could just kind of sit, and I couldn't focus on anything. And so I decided one day, I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down at this piano, and I'm not going to leave until I write this song. And I realized that it didn't take as long as I thought it would, and it was a lot easier. It came a lot faster than I thought it would, and I loved it. I just loved it. And so it was a really neat thing, and it was just a kind of a place where I could put my hands and put my focus, and it was a place where God really spoke to me, and I was really able to communicate with him. And so it was a very inward thing the first probably year and a half, and that we spoke probably only 4 or 5 months after that point in time. So when I was talking with you, I had no purpose for the music. It was just simply because that's what God had put on my heart, and that's what I wanted to do. And now I think the difference is I'm just completely in love with it. I just love writing music and performing and sharing it, and so I'm really excited about the future and where this is going. I really have good hopes for it.
Okay. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that I met Brianna through her father, David. I was at an event, and we got to talking along with some other people about our children, and he had mentioned to me that his wife had died, but that his daughter, who had hated the music lessons that her mother was making her take, was now writing songs, and it was something that was they were surprised about, but he was also delighted. And can you talk a little bit about that? Because the songs that you wrote, you ended up making CDs and giving them out to people.
That's right. It was one recording, and it was my friend's MacBook that we just recorded on GarageBand with some equipment, and I made probably 30 copies at first.
Okay.
And it was just, my thought was, if I can bless 30 people with this music that I wrote, then that's great, and God can do whatever he wants with that. But then all of a sudden, right after that, I was making at least 10 copies a night for weeks, and I probably made 200 copies within that month or so, and I think that's right before we met, and it was just kind of this overwhelming thing where I didn't expect anything to come from this music or it to be really for anyone except for me, and for me to kind of heal through it and kind of be in a better place because of it. And I just realized that this is a kind of music, it was really lament. And a lot of people are lacking that in music. That's something that, people, especially in singing and things like that, often, have more happier songs, and almost none of them of mine. They were all just really heartfelt lament, and I think that that's what a lot of people at that point in time were really needing in their lives.
Your mother was a musician. She sang
That's
too, right? Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So do you feel, and I remember we talked about this back in Mother's Day 2006, that there was a connection, that you connected. This was a way that God was helping you to grieve in a way that you hadn't thought that.
Right.
Okay.
I really, I kind of thought that music would be the most painful thing for me after she was gone, because that was something that we shared so intimately. And she is a fantastic musician. She was unbelievable, played piano and composed and transposed and so many things that I don't know if I'll ever be able to do, but that was something that we really shared. And so I was so surprised when I turned to that, when I turned back to that, to kind of cope with the loss of her.
Okay. Now, how do you think your mother would feel about you deciding to pursue music now?
That's kind of hard, but I do think that she would be really proud. I think that she would have really enjoyed to be able to share in that too, and I don't know. I have good thoughts about that.
Good. Now, was there any one thing that made you decide that you wanted to pursue music?
Actually, I think it was a long process of God working on my heart, because not wanting to do music, I think that I always wanted to do music, and that I told myself that I didn't out of fear, because it's such a business that is centered around failures, and it's really, really hard. And so I think that I just said, hey, I'll never make it. I just don't want to put myself in that. And I think that God really worked on my heart that fear is not the person that rules me. Fear is not what dominates my life. And I just need to do what I love and trust that God's going to lead it and be there.
Okay. Now, how can people get a hold of your music?
I have a MySpace. It's myspace.com/Brianna Gaither Music. And actually just recently, in the last month, we're on iTunes. But I have a CD. It's an EP called New Thoughts. And the idea behind it was kind of new thoughts in an old box, which is going on what, we're saying, like, yes, I've been doing this for a while, for about 3 years, and but at the same time, it's not quite what it was before, and now it's a newer thing. It's fresh, and it's something that I really want to pursue. And so that was the idea for this first album, and so you can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Amazon.com, and then if you see us at a show, then we can get you the CD.
Okay. Do you have an upcoming show? Because I think
We do. There's one on June 27th, which is a Saturday at 8 p.m. at Cuppy's and Joe in Oklahoma City, and we have several throughout the summer in Oklahoma City and Edmond and Tulsa and some surrounding areas that we're really excited about. But you can get all the tour dates on the MySpace.
All right, great. Well, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is fun.
Thank you.
It's not every day that we get to follow up a story like this. Yeah. So, well, this is Carla Hinton reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. Brianna Gaither is going to perform one of her songs for us. Look for more information in the Oklahoman.
This morning, a bird flew in through my window and told me that it was time to go. Follow my heart when things are going so slowly. I know that it is only the very beginning. But there are things you don't know about me, things you only read about in fantasy, scary dreams becoming my reality. Now it's up to you to scare them away happy as we want to be, but you still can't make me.